How's it going, YouTube? In this video, we are continuing my Tempest card review. I believe we're over halfway through, so just a couple left. But anyway, I hope you guys like the video as always. If you guys enjoy the content, give me a like, give me a sub. Thank you guys so much for watching. Alright guys, we're back for another Tempest card review. To start off, we have Magic Illusionist, a silver playpoint runecraft card. He's a 2 playpoint 2/2, so pretty premium stats to start with. Effect is last words, perform Earthright, summon a Magic Illusionist. So, if he dies and you have a sigil, he resummons himself. So essentially, when I look at this card, what I think of is, how much is an Earth Sigil worth? Is an Earth Sigil worth a 2/2? Probably not, right? Is an Earth Sigil worth like a 3/3 with ward? Maybe, that's like the maybe. Because you can get like 3 3/3s reward out of an Earth Sigil. You can get crazy effects out of like the curse, stuff like that, right? Now, this is not just a 2/2. It's a 2/2 that is on the board already, right? So that's better than a 2/2 that goes in your hand. Because you're essentially playing for free, right? That said though, is a 2/2 really worth a sigil? I don't know that it is, so... Like, I don't see you playing this over Levi or the 2-drop Alchemist. If you're gonna play older 2-drops, you definitely could, but I don't know, man. I feel like the space is tight, and I don't see Earthrights making room for this guy. So, although I don't hate him, I don't really like him either, and I don't think he will see much play. Alright, next we got Blad, a 5 playpoint 4/5 Bloodcraft Silver. So when I see this guy, I instantly think of the League of Legends champion Vladimir, right? That's just the first thing that comes to my mind. Anyway, so it's a 5 playpoint 4/5 Silver. He evolves into an effect, but he still gains +2/+2 on evo. So he doesn't gain 1, he doesn't get +1/+1, right? And the effect is, at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all our followers. So it's like, you evo into a barrage that doesn't go face, but you still get the evo stats. How good is that? I mean, barrage is not really played in meta right now, but in the future, barrage might make a comeback, it's possible. Although, right now it's not that great, and it's possible it's not great in the next meta either. The 1 damage is not worthless by any means, but it's not like crazy exciting either. And he does gain the full stats, which is good. But would you play as a control blood? I don't think so. Maybe in mid-range blood, if that's the thing. Definitely not in aggro blood, so like it's not a horrible card. I just don't really see it being played in any of the current decks right now. Maybe in a future deck that wants to play it. In Take 2, I think it's pretty solid. You definitely take this card in Take 2 and be happy about it. But not crazy insane for Constructed. Yeah, it's like a worse Ancient Land Spirit. That's one way to put it, Kieran. And you're right on that, right? Because Ancient Land Spirit is way better. The difference between 1 or 2 AoE damage is absolutely huge, right? To be fair though, Ancient Land Spirit is really, really good. So I don't expect there to be a lot of cards that are better than that, right? Or even in the same power level, even. Yeah, I don't see Barrage making a comeback either. But in the chance that it does, then this guy could be, you know... But I don't see it happening. Alright, next we got... Soul Dominator, a 7 playpoint Bloodcraft Gold. It's a 4/6 Storm. Whenever another follow is destroyed, gain +1 attack. It equals normally same effect. So the first comparison you want to make is to Alucard, right? Alucard is a 7 playpoint 4/4 Storm minion. Now, while Alucard is more defensive because he heals you of your minions, Soul Dominator is more aggressive as she can get more damage when a follower dies, right? Now, I expect her, like... Maybe you play this and you trade something and you get 1 more damage. If you like clear a ward or something. Alucard is not like super good, but he's definitely had some time in a lot of blood decks, mainly like controlled blood decks. And you still could play Alucard now, it's not like it's bad, right? Question is where you would play this over Alucard, and I don't know that you would. There's also other 7 playpoint blood minions that are really good right now. Things like the Matriarch or the Warfiend. So, it's hard to find that spot in a slower blood deck, right? Maybe you place in like mid-range Storm, and you like end out at Imp Lancers, Soul Dominators, and Alucards. And maybe that becomes a thing, but... Well, this is not a bad card. I don't really see it played too much in like Control Blow or anything like that, so it's not great. It's not awful either, though. Like, Force Storm is good, of course, so it's just like whatever, right? It has a lot of competition, and as we see more cards be in the game, like there's harder for a card to make it worth into your deck, if that makes sense, right? Because each slot in your deck becomes worth a lot. Because a bigger pool of cards to pick from, right? So not a horrible card, but not crazy amazing either. Alright, next we got Zeppelin Disciple, a Shadowcraft, Bronze, 1 playpoint 1/1. Fanfare, give an average follower the ability to ignore ward. So the first thing I see about this card is that stats wise it's pretty low, right? A 1 playpoint minion is usually like a 1/2. Now this has a Fanfare, which is it's kind of a weird effect to judge, right? Like there is a card already that lets you do this in Shadow, and I can't recall the name right now, but it's a card that lets you ignore ward. So you would play this with like maybe a Tyrant combo to get through a ward. The problem is that the Tyrant combo is going to be a 10 playpoint combo in Mint and Tyrant, and that's 10 play points. So you can't fit that in there, right? Like you wouldn't play this in a standard. I mean, you could play this in Aggro Shadow if you really want to get through a ward, I suppose. Is that worth the slots in your deck? I don't know that it is though. And stat wise is pretty poor. So I'm not really a fan of it. Alright, next we have Aqua Nerade, a Dragoncraft Bronze, 3 playpoint 1/1. Fanfare, summon an Orca, and this card has me so excited for the expansion. It's crazy how one very simple card can completely change everything, the entire dynamic of the game, right? So you ask, why am I so excited for this card? Well, first of all, it's Orca Synergy, right? Which, as you guys know, I'm actually crazy for. And this card I think is a good card. Let's talk about the card, right? So it's a 3 playpoint 1/1 summon Orca. It's actually a 3 playpoint 1/1 and summons a 2/2. This is not exactly the same as having a 3/3, right? Because a 3/3 would trade over a 2/3 and have a 3/1 left over. This would trade against a 2/3 and have nothing left over, right? So it's not strictly better than a 2/3, but it's not strictly ward either, right? Because you could trade into like a 3/1 and have a 2/2 left over. So there's upsides and downsides to the way the card is. But I think a 3 playpoint 1/1 2/2 is good. Let me say that's good. The fact that it's an Orca, it's even better as you do get Orca Synergy. Now, on top of that, what this means is that we had 0 Orca Synergy on Bahamut. And I was really sad about that. I was devastated. The fact that we have 1 Orca card right now means that we have a dream that we will likely get more Orca support. Because I think it would be crazy if they only released 1 Orca card, right? The fact that they acknowledge that people like more Orcas means we're likely getting another Orca card, and I really hope that it's going to be a Dragon Legendary. I really think it's possible. So this card is good, but I'm excited for what it represents. And it represents that in the future we might have an Orca deck, and that would make me incredibly happy. So I can't wait for that. Absolutely love this card. Absolutely love this card. Okay, next we got the Miss Shaman, a 2 playpoint Bronze Havencraft card. So it's 2 for 2/2, pretty good stats, premium stats. Fanfare, give an allied follower resistance to target enemy spells and effects. So it's like the menu effect that you give to somebody else. That's a pretty powerful effect. There is a minion, a Haven minion that gives this to all your followers. And that card is not run too much, but it was run when Haven wants to like really have a good matchup against Rune. And it is a powerful effect. And this is a 2 playpoint 2/2, so you don't lose stats for it. I wonder if like a mid or tempo Haven would play this. I think it's one of those where it's like, I think it's a good card. I don't see what deck this runs into right now, but I do think it's a good card. And I could see it being run in decks in the future. I think it's potential. And Take 2 looks pretty solid as well, right? It's a 2/2 with a positive effect. That's good. So I like this card. I think it's good without being like horribly broken or anything like that. I like it. Good card. Solid. Okay, next we got a neutral legendary Israfil, 9 playpoint 8/8. Fanfare, restore 4 defense to your leader. Whenever this follows attacks, deal 2 damage to all enemies. Evo is the same thing. So the first comparison you make is Lucifer, right? So Lucifer heals you for 4 at the end of your turn. Every turn, he's a 6/7 and he heals more aggressively, right? So what does Israel do better than Lucifer? Well, off the bat, she has more stats, right? Obviously, she costs 1 more and that's relevant. But she's 8/8 instead of 6/7, so that's good. The heal is instant, which is nice. And if you Evo her, she's a 10/10, that gives you 2 AoE damage, and that's pretty strong. That seems really strong. Now, I don't think this card is strictly better than Lucifer. Lucifer does things differently, and some things better, right? AKA being more aggressive, if he survives. And he can heal you over time, right? Which is worth a lot. That's it. Lucifer usually heals you for 1, and that's it, right? And this card is good at fighting the board, while also healing you, and having good stats. It's a big threat, right? The other thing is that if you summon her off of Sackwill, you will get the AoE damage, which is really, really good, but you will not get the heal, right? So again, not strictly better than Lucifer there, as Lucifer with Sackwill is like absolutely good, right? Insanely good. But I do like this card. I think it's good. Good stats, good effect. It's like a good control card, which I'm excited to see. And I think it's good that they give you more options, right? Because a lot of the Sackwill's decks ended up being like triple Lucifer, triple Bahamut, and that's good, nothing wrong with that. But ideally you have variety so that as a deck builder, you have to think and make the choice. Do I want to play 3 Lucifers or do I want to play an Israfil in there, right? Do I want to play a Bahamut or do I want to play a Zeus instead? Like, the fact that you have to make this decision, I think it's good. It's good to have the options, right? And I think it's a good card. Definitely expect to see play. AoE clear, while healing, and good stats. Just good. I like it. I'm a big fan. Okay, next we got Beetle Warrior, a Forestcraft bronze card. It's a 3-play.2/3. So stat-wise, pretty solid, pretty premium strats. Effect is Fanfare, gain +1/+1, and Storm if at least 2 other cards were played this turn. So the first thing you see is any card that says Storm on it, you gotta take at least a second look at it, right? Storm is incredibly powerful effect. This card is meant to go face. The requirement is not that high, right? Like, you play double fairy and you get a 3/4 Storm, you can even do a 5 damage. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's like the same damage as Roach if you played 2 cards before. It obviously costs more, but you're probably playing this on top of Roach, right? And you can play it on turn 3 as a 2/3 and not feel bad about it. So it seems good. I like it. It is interesting to see how the Forest decks will change in the future. And I'm not sure how this card quite fits in those changes, right? But I like it. And I definitely expect to see some play. Like, in Arena, it's good as well. It's going to help you close out the games. Just seems like a solid, good card. I like it. Okay, next we have Support Cannon, a Swordcraft Amulet. Now, we were talking about this card before, but here it is. And I like this card a lot. So, it's an amulet for 5. It says, whenever an allied commander is played, deal X damage to a random enemy follower. X equals the attack of the commander. If there are no enemy followers in play, deal X damage to the enemy leader instead. So essentially, every time you play a commander, you fight the board with how much attack the commander has. And if your opponent has no board, then you go face instead. So this seems cool in a commander sword deck, which seems really cool, right? It's cool that they're trying to make that a thing. And that deck would definitely play this. Whether the deck is good or not, we won't know for a while. But I think it's cool that they're letting sword do something else. It's a card that will help you fight the board, will also help you close out the game after that, right? My only concern with it is that it costs 5, and that's a pretty big cost for an amulet, right? But there's cards like Fervor that are played in Dragon that cost 5 and don't fight the board. So this card definitely could see play. After it's played, like, your commanders become insanely good, right? Like, we went over the other card that summons a commander, and your commanders evolve for free, right? And if you play this card and you follow it up with that other card, that's really insanely good board, right? And you fight back the board that you fell behind on, so it seems good. I like this card a lot. I'm a fan of this card. Triple Cannon the Dream. You get multiple cannons, yeah. Seems like a good card, though. I like it. That deck might not be good, but it could be good, yeah. And that would be exciting. Okay, next we have Freshman Lou. A Runecraft Silver, 2-play.1/1. So, below curb stats, Fanfare, put a random card with spellboost from your deck into your hand. So most cards that draw a card have below stat line, right? And this card gets you a card that has spellboost, which is good, right? Now, I'm by no means a D-Shift expert or anything like that. So I cannot honestly say if D-Shift would play this or not. I really have no idea if they would. It does search a spellboost card, which, like, it's got to be good in a deck that wants to spellboost, right? Maybe in a different type of spellboost deck, this card is good. In Take 2, this card could be awkward, because, like, any 10 draw cards is good, right? But you also don't guarantee to get the spellboost cards, so it's hard for me to judge how the power level of this card. Like, it's a 2-play.1/1 is good, right? As melee receives play. Also, they guarantee that they get Albert, which is not the same as getting any random spell boost card, but it's not bad, right? You could fetch Mithril Golem or something, yeah. I'm curious if this card will see play. I don't know if this makes the cut initiative though, but not a horrible card, right? Alright, we are back with the next Tempest Gods review. First of all, we have a Blood Gold Galwrath, Devil of Love. Pretty spicy name if I do say so myself. He's a 2 play 2/2, so pretty premium stats. Effect is, if this follower can be targeted by any spells and effects, then your other ally followers cannot be targeted, right? If he was the same thing. So essentially, it kind of like protects your other minions without like giving them resistance, right? There's a similar card for Haven, right? It's a 2 play 2/2 that gives an ally follower resistance. Is that better than this effect? Like technically this guy protects more than one guy, but they only are protected until this guy's still on the board. When he dies, they won't get the protection anymore, right? So although it's not a bad effect, I don't know if this is worth a slot in your deck, right? Like would a blood deck play this over like a Bania or anything like that? And it's hard for me to say that they would, right? It's definitely an interesting effect though, and it'll be cool if we see more of this type of effect in the future. But I can't say I'm too excited for it. Not a horrible card though, I don't think. It's hard for this to be worth a slot in a deck, right? Alright, next we have the Calydonian Boar, a Havencraft Silver, 6 play 1/4/4. He has Rush, Fanfare Strapped, 1 from the countdown of all allied amulets. So first of all, let me say the art is pretty cool. I like the boar, he's pretty sick. You can compare this to the 5 play 3/4 that has the same effect essentially. I forget the name, but you know, it's a card that's a 5 play 1/3/4, same effect. But it doesn't have Rush, right? So essentially you play an extra play point for 1 more attack and Rush, which means you can't fight the board. Obviously it is slower though, right? Although I don't think it's a bad card, like, I don't really see people playing this, right? Like, if you want to proc a bunch of amulets, then I feel like you're better off going for like the Skullfin or Eidolon way, right? And if you're trying to proc only 1 amulet, then it's not that great either, right? In take 2, you could probably take this and be okay. Like a 6/4/4 Rush is not bad. And then you'll probably have some amulets. So I see it's been like a solid take 2 card. I don't see it's being played in any Constructed Haven though, but it's cool art. Just like decent card, I suppose. Alright, next we got Elf Queen. Okay, so this is one of the really hype cards. Elf Queen is a 7 play 6/6 Forest Legendary. It's the first Forest Legendary. We've not seen the second one yet, but this one is pretty good. So our effect is Fanfare. Restore X defense to your leader. X equals to the number of shadows you have. And then you change your shadows to 0. So off the bat, you want to compare this to Fairy Beast, right? Fairy Beast is 6 play 1/4/4. That heals you for how many cards you have in your hand. And Fairy Beast, I'd say in average, heals you like anywhere between like 5 to like 8 if you're like going ham on your hand. This probably will heal you for a lot more than that, right? If you consider that every card you play will give you a shadow, and other cards in Forest give you multiple shadows, like Fairy Whisperer gives you 3 shadows, right? I mean, Forest was known for running a Purgatory deck, so they definitely have no problems with shadows. If this is actually like a 7 play 6/6 heal you back to full life, that's really, really good, right? Because for 7 play 6/6 is like, it's good stats. It heals into an 8/8 and it fights the board well. And it's a massive heal, right? Like, it costs your shadows, right? So it means that you can't, I mean, you could place in a Purgatory deck, but you wouldn't, right? And it means that your second one won't fully heal you back again. At least not if you play it back to back. Which I think is fair. I think that's good game design. So let me say that I like the design of this card a lot. This card is really, really strong. Would you play this like over Fairy Beast? I don't know, because, you know, it costs 7. And being able to heal on 6, you know, might matter. A lot of aggro decks can kill you on 6, right? So I don't think Fairy Beast is like useless either. But between Elf Queen, Fairy Beast, and the what is the card? The gold, the 4/6 gold that has Ward and heals. Like, you're looking to play, you could play a Forest deck that heals for a lot. And not just like one time heal, like you could heal like every turn for like heal for 3, heal for 5, heal for 12, right? That's crazy. I think this card is really, really good. I'm a big fan of it. I like the card. I think the power level is good. I like that from the game design perspective. And I like that this is going to help Forest go in a control direction. Which, as you guys know, I'm looking forward to. And I like that a lot. I think this card is super good. Cannot wait to play it. And I'm happy that Forest is getting things like this. It would be great if Control Forest is like a Bible archetype after the expansion. Anyway, next we have Test of Strength, a neutral amulet, 3 play points, countdown 2. Leaders cannot be attacked if there's a follower that can be attacked in their area. So, I like this effect. It's like a defensive card. And this reminds me of like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Where you cannot go face if they have a minion. And as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, or I played a little Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day, I like that a lot. Because I like those mechanics, right? Like, I know a lot of you guys like Smork and Storm, but it's kind of annoying where like you have dudes and you're trying to like interact and fight the board and they just like ignore it and go face, right? Like obviously Storm cards are made to like give decks a way to end the game, and you know, I'm not saying that all Storm is like broken or super removed from the game or anything like that, but I like an effect like this. Now, how good is this card though? On turn 3, I don't think it's that good. You play this on 3, and then on 4 and 5, like there's just a lot of minion trading with the Evils, so it might save you like a life 2 or 3, and that's not that great. You can play this on like later on, like before an Albert turn, so that the Albert has to trade. But even then, it doesn't save you unless you have a minion. So it's kind of awkward, right? Like, I think the effect is interesting, and I'd like to see more of this effect, but I don't know that this card itself it's too good. It seems really awkward to me, right? It's like a worse Guardian Sun, essentially. Obviously, Guardian Sun is a Haven card, and not everyone can play this, and this is a card you can play in any deck, right? But I don't know, it seems kind of weak to me. But I like the effect, it seems interesting. Okay, so next we have Zombie Party, a Shadowcraft 2 play point spell. Deal 3 damage to an enemy follower, enhance 7, summon 3 zombies. So a 2 play point deal 3 damage is already pretty good, right? There's a lot of cards that are like that, and that's pretty solid. It's good early game removal, so like that is good already. Enhance 7, summon 3 zombies. So for 7, you were doing 3 damage and getting 3 2/2s. That's not bad. Like, the strength here is the flexibility. You can play it early game or play it late and get value, right? Like, this is a really, really good take 2 card. This card is super strong in take 2. In Constructed, it definitely could see play. When I see this card, though, I want to see a card like this for Orcas, though. Like, imagine this is an Orca party instead. Deal 2 damage or you summon Orcas. That's what I want to see, man. I like to see an Orca party card. Side games, please. It's not a bad card, though. I think the enhance is cool. Like, it gives flexibility. Pretty good in take 2.